assets. I'm not sure, I really don't know. Like I think that Bitcoin now is traded like any other macro asset, $2 trillion, it's big enough. It's not like it in its own little bubble in its own cycle now, and we are orbiting macro. So if that turns, Bitcoin will turn as well. And of course,
Willy Woo, a well-known on-chain Bitcoin analyst over the years, has shared many insightful observations about Bitcoin and the dynamics of the cryptocurrency market. In a recent interview with Bitcoin YouTuber and journalist Natalie Brunell, Wu shared yet another insightful observation about investing in Bitcoin, particularly for investors who missed the opportunity to purchase when the leading cryptocurrency was much cheaper. It's common to hear new and prospective investors lament how expensive Bitcoin is now, particularly now that one Bitcoin is trading above $100,000. But Wu claims that this should not deter new investors, but rather increase their desire to own this revolutionary asset that has managed to outperform several traditional assets since its inception. In his conversation with Natalie Wu, the on-chain analyst shares his thoughts on the current state of the Bitcoin market, pointing out how far it has come from the 2022 FTX contagion to the entry of financial giants like BlackRock and Fidelity. Although Wu is worried about some short-term macro headwinds, he is incredibly bullish on Bitcoin in the long run and believes the leading cryptocurrency will one day reach $5 million per coin. Before we show you snippets of Wu's interview, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable post notifications for more videos like this. Your actions greatly aid the channel's growth and the YouTube algorithm. Thank you and enjoy the video.
I'm on that boat too, actually. I am expecting things to crash really hard sooner or later. And it's really hard. It's like kind of like playing chicken with a freight train, if you want to time the top. Um, right now, I model the stuff and quantitatively. Well, the risk is high, meaning that the liquidity, the buyers, the spot buyers there isn't keeping up with effectively the price action that's happening. So we the risk is high for a drawdown, and it could turn on us. Um, I think the shape of the economy is not that great. I think it's really hard to tell. Like if we're talking over the next what does it look like over the next year or two. Um, I think we're due for a pullback. But when, and that is quite hard to time, I think. Um, right now, there seems to be a lot of buying of risk assets. I'm not sure, I really don't know. Like I think that Bitcoin now is traded like any other macro asset, $2 trillion, it's big enough. It's not like it in its own little bubble in its own cycle now, and we are orbiting macro. So if that turns, Bitcoin will turn as well. And of course, when macro goes up or down, Bitcoin's, very accelerated. It's like that on steroids. So, um, but long term over the next 4, 8 years, of course, it's going to continue to outperform every single asset class on the planet.
Yeah.
I am really curious why someone relatively smart like Trump would do something so stupid. Um, because you think about it, like this is it's sure it's a meme coin. There's no underlying value. There's no technology behind it. Um, you mint it on Solana and you trade this bubble. And so we know that, well, at least we've seen it with at least 16,000 coins that they trend to zero, given enough time. So why would a president want to risk his reputation? It looks great now because you've got market capitalizations in the tens of billions of dollars and it looks like he's a genius. But you look at long term, you play the long game, like eventually this thing's going to pop. Like meme coins are the fad of this cycle. Every cycle there's a fad. That's going to go
Yeah.
away. And he'll be left with I don't know how many millions of people that have bought this coin, and they'll be going, I lost a lot of money over Trump, right?
According to Willy Woo, one Satoshi, the smallest unit of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency, which is equivalent to 100 millionths of one Bitcoin, will one day be worth $5. At the moment, one Satoshi is worth 0.149. This prediction is demonstrated by Woo's pinned tweet on social networking platform X. The tweet displays the long-term price of Bitcoin. In today's value stack, the target is 5 cents per sat. When it gets there, don't sell and adopt the wealthy strategy of using it as collateral to borrow fiat, spend that fiat, which gets cheaper every day. Hold onto your assets forever, and pass them on to your children with the same message. Sats don't even consider the price or the path it takes to get there. It will only divert you. In his interview with Natalie, Wu reiterates this forecast, stating that the route to $5 million BTC is more certain than most people think now. Let's return to the
Right?
interview.
And he's the president. It's a very privileged situation. So I'm very, very confused with why he chose to listen to probably his advisor. I don't know, but it just seems like that's like a very fast money grift, and I don't see any long-term strategy behind it. I think it's an absolutely stupid idea. For someone that's supposed to be wise at his stage of his life, I just don't get it. It's pretty crazy times right now. I mean, probably everyone thinks they're in the craziest of times. But yeah, like yeah, when money dies, right? We've
Yeah.
gone so far. Like the US, if you look at it, we always think the money printers are going on and we're printing more money. But if you look at what's really happened with the expansion of M2, it's contracted. That's what's caused the bear market.
Hmm.
And so suddenly the US is paying like, is it more than the military budget to pay the interest on their debt? And
Yeah.
they're going to be bankrupt if the rates don't drop. And so
Hmm.
what happens then? Okay, great. Is people who own assets would do fine.
Yeah.
Bitcoin probably rally to the
Exactly.
millions, but that doesn't help everybody. It only
Right.
helps those who have assets. This whole
Exactly.
thing's, I just don't know what's going to happen. Is there an easy way out or a soft way out where um, there's not calamity?
Right.
So
I know.
yeah,
I know. It's like
how
Bitcoin is
many
that
years?
life raft. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what is it? 1971. We're coming to the end of this Fiat era. It's been over 50 years. I don't know how much longer, you know, it can continue. Um, so yeah, interesting times.
Well,
So that would be a new gold standard, I guess. I mean, there are a lot smarter people than me on the subject. If you back it with Bitcoin, um, maybe we can transition. I mean, I'm probably not the expert to, I don't know the inner workings of how you create a new currency and reback it on Bitcoin. I know how we got to this stage, and like we had a gold standard, and that did really get rugged. And I think that when you back a dollar with Bitcoins, you still have a very flawed system because you've created the gold standard, which is absolutely rugged, right? The problem with the gold standard is you have one one location that holds the gold, and so during Bretton Woods, there was an agreement, and the US, having, championed the victory over World War II, we will reconstruct the world, but, you're going to use the US dollars, and we're going to put all the gold in Fort Knox, and trust me, bro, I'm good for
mhm.
it, right? And it got rugged
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
1971. And what it did was it centralized all the countries to the US dollar so that
Mhm.
now we're going to go to fiat and we can all stay on fiat and not have that country on the gold standard and the guys on fiat sort of waning over time. And so if you get a Bitcoin backed dollar and it's still the US dollar being the reserve currency, we're back there where it's centralized. It's a lot better because we have real-time auditability of the reserves. So you can't
Mhm.
easily say, um, you know, we're going to snip it, and we've never audited the gold supply backing all the world's currency is so crazy. So I think that it's a lot better, but it's still weak because you've got one entity holding so much Bitcoin to back a dollar, and I just don't trust that setup. I don't think that's the right solution. I think that there's all manner of crafty things that a nation state can do um, to get us off a Bitcoin standard and back to fiat. So yeah, just yeah. There's a big risk also to the system here because like effectively it's a kind of a security like problem. You know, the like what is it? 80% of the supply is controlled by
Yeah.
insiders. That's a security setup. Um,
Yeah.
and that's not if ethically that's not correct, right? If you're trading, you're issuing a security, there's a lot of rules to play by. I see that Michael Saylor's going in to have a chat because he's been playing by these rules for a generation, like 25 years, 30 years. I just don't get it. It's a risk to the system. If everyone's going to say, oh, now it's condoned by the president, and then we're going to have everybody trying to grift each other, like, what does that say to our society? It's like the tail end of an empire, let's say. It's the I thought we were going to have a golden age,
Yeah.
right? That's the conversation. And you start your presidency with something this stupid and so grifty. I
Right.
just don't get it. It's
As per numerous of his campaign pledges, kindly express your opinions about Willy Woo's $5 million Bitcoin prediction in the comments section below. In a Tuesday announcement that many have labeled as extremely contentious, U.S. President Donald Trump announced significant changes since taking office on Monday. Ross Ulrich, the founder of the Silk Road online black marketplace, which allowed the anonymous selling of illegal goods and drugs using Bitcoin as a payment method, was formally pardoned by President Trump. Ross was detained in 2013 and given 2 life sentences plus 40 years in prison. In May 2015, President Trump announced an unconditional pardon for Ross on Truth Social. In honor of her and the libertarian movement that so strongly backed me, I just called Ross William Utrie's mother to inform her that I had just signed a complete and unconditional pardon of her son Ross. The scum who attempted to convict him were some of the same insane people who were involved in the modern-day weaponization of government against me. He received 2 absurd life sentences in addition to 40 years. The decision has been praised by a number of well-known Bitcoiners, including former Binance CEO CZ. Charles Hopkinson, the inventor of Cardano, also tweeted, "Welcome home. Ross, as an industry, we are here to support you on your path back to freedom, no matter what." President Trump has also made significant changes to regulatory agencies, such as the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. According to reports, Caroline Pham, a former Citibank executive with extensive experience in cryptocurrency, has been named as the acting chairperson of the regulatory agency and has worked on developing appropriate digital assets policies at the Commission. Republican Mark Ueda, a former SEC commissioner, was also elected as the agency's acting chairperson. Eda's pro-crypto views have been praised for being so drastically different from former chair Gary Gensler's anti-crypto views. Trump aspires to establish America as the global hub for cryptocurrency. How will the incoming head of the SEC make it happen? Well, Stuart, good morning. President Trump is absolutely correct when he says that the current administration's war on cryptocurrency must end. There are several things we can do to help position America as a global leader in the field, starting with regulatory measures. We can provide the necessary clarity and some clarity. Since taking office, the UEDA announced the creation of a crypto task force that will focus on creating comprehensive guidelines to address the challenges faced by the rapidly evolving digital asset sector. Commissioner Hester Pierce, who is known for her pro-crypto stance and support of innovation, will lead the initiative with assistance from senior advisors Richard Gabbard and Taylor Asher. Crypto is not even a security at all, But we need to make clear whether or not you fall within SECG. One of the main topics the task group will cover is creating transparent registration procedures for cryptocurrency enterprises, raising the bar for disclosure, facilitating cooperation with Congress, other federal agencies, and foreign authorities while expediting enforcement actions. Commissioner Pierce underlined the significance of stakeholder involvement, pointing out that feedback from investors, industry players, academics, and other interested parties is essential to the initiative's success. Pierce emphasized the task force's overarching goals, saying that it seeks to safeguard investors' support. With President Trump fulfilling one campaign pledge after another, do you think the establishment of the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve is the next step? How do you think such an announcement will affect the price of Bitcoin and other crypto assets? Please leave your thoughts in the space provided below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable post notifications for more videos like this. Thank you for watching.